listening to the Fours Up Podcast with your host, Marsh.
What up, what up, what up? It is the Fours Up Podcast. It is Wednesday, June 10th. It is a scorcher here in Salt Lake City. It is your boy, Marsh. It is the home of your 2020 hopeful ACC Coastal Division champion Miami Hurricanes. As always, I am joined by my co-producer, or co-host and wonderful producer, Jordan Nelson. Jordan, we got a lot of good things going. What's going on? Talk to me.
Dude, it is. I mean, the coronavirus stuff is cooling down. Miami football, I meing, we're back in hype season again. You know what I mean? We're landing some big recruits. We're hopeful on some other big recruits. You know, we're gearing up for football season. I'm just happy that it's going to happen.
Absolutely. Football will happen. Whether or not there will be a full stadium on September 5th, that's another question. But there will be football, the Hurricanes. And on Sunday, it was announced, we'll get into this a little bit later, but Jarrid Williams,
yes,
he's a Hurricane, baby.
Dude, we desperately needed that. And I love that we were able to get Isaiah Walker and Jarrid Williams. Just cannot speak to how huge that is for our program and our team this season. Yeah.
I mean, just to have like an experienced offensive lineman who's also been with De'Aaron King. So, yes. But anyway, we have a big show for you guys today. We have two of our favorite reoccurring guests coming on. We got John Michaels first, and then we got Mike McCoy a little bit later. So let's dial up our good friend John Michaels.
Okay. Well, real quick, I want to give a shout out to our boy Brad Tejeda.
Yes.
Who we have on the pod all the time. He announced that he got a radio show over at what is it? It's Sirius XM Slam Radio. Is that correct?
Yep.
And so we're gonna have him on here in the next week or so that he can tell you guys more about that. And we're super happy for him. He's a great guy. He's been invaluable to what we do here. He's helped us out probably way more than any of you guys could possibly know, behind the scenes and stuff. So yeah, so awesome, Brad. Congrats and good luck, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, Brad has been so huge for us. And so we'll get him on the show soon. And so good things, good times with Canes fans. So
yeah, man, it's exciting times again. Like I love, dude, there's nothing better about being a Miami Hurricanes fan than the off season, like the hype season, off season championships.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday night, once Jarrid announced that he was coming, I was driving and I was in the middle of nowhere and I lost my mind. Right? And once, cause I was late, I was about 10 minutes late because I couldn't get service, and I was refreshing because I knew it was going to happen that weekend. I actually predicted that he was going to announce on Saturday, but I'm just happy that it's over. We got him, and I mean, just the presence of that kind of guy, maybe even I might even change my prediction to 10-2 now.
Yeah, join the dark side.
Hey, I am the dark side.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna dial up John right now.
Hello.
John Michaels, what is going on, man?
What's up, guys? How you?
Pretty good. I know you're in New Orleans right now. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, no problem at all, man. Anytime we want to talk Miami, I'm down.
Absolutely. And I also got to give a special shout out to John. He sent me a lovely care package in the mail the other day with a Braxton Berrios autograph and also a Ja'Cory Harris beautiful jersey. So, John, I just want to thank you again, brother.
No, anytime. Now, you're the only one that would appreciate that jersey. And it's funny, the last time, I'll be honest, I forgot I had the jersey. I've got, down in my basement, I've got stuff that I haven't worn in forever. The bigger jerseys aren't really in style anymore. So I haven't put on any of the jerseys. And I happen to be down there, and I open up my closet, and I go, oh, crap. I've got this Ja'Cory Harris jersey, and I know Marsh loves Ja'Cory Harris. So I said, let me throw this in the care package and send it to him. And it's funny, the last time that jersey was worn, this will tell you how long ago it's been since, and I didn't even wear it. I had a bet with my old producer at an old radio station back. I guess it had to be 2013 when we played Florida down in Miami when Al Golden, somehow coaxed Jeff Driscoll to throw like 9 interceptions that game and Miami won. Our bet was the loser had to go clean shaven and take a picture in the other team's jersey. Well, Bo is like 5'8" and about 160 pounds. So that's an XL. That's a big ass jersey. So him there with clean shaven is one of the funniest pictures I've ever been able to take. Yeah. Thank God I didn't have to wear like a medium Florida jersey and be clean shaven because that would have been hell of embarrassing.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I'm excited to wear that just around town and also to a game. But let's get into the Canes. On Sunday, it was announced that Jarrid Williams, the best offensive lineman in the transfer portal, would be coming to Miami. How are you feeling about that, John? It's a huge pickup for the Canes.
I love it. And I'm actually, if you guys read the stuff at stateoftheu.com, I'm doing a 10-part series, basically just breaking down every position group and asking the question, does Miami have enough to contend for the college football playoffs? So I was on Hockman and Crowder yesterday, and of course Crowder's laughing. Playoffs, you guys, you lost to FIU. And I said, I get that, but the goal for Miami every year is to win a national championship. It's to play in the college football playoffs. So I haven't got to offensive line yet. Thank God I hadn't, because I would have been a lot more scathing with my breakdown of that team and that position group if Jarrid Williams isn't there. Here's the best thing about him. He walks in immediately and is your best tackle today. Yep. Now, does that mean Jalen Rivers or Isaiah Walker somewhere down the road won't be better tackles? No. It just means right now on June the 8th, 2020, that Jarrid Williams he might be the best offensive lineman you have right now. So all of a sudden you plug him in at either left or right tackle, and I would plug him in at left tackle. You allow the ability for Zion Nelson to take the red shirt that he needed last year anyway. You probably allow one of the two in Rivers or Walker to take a red shirt. And I saw where Walker's coach even said he'd probably be best suited to have a year to reshape his body, to get into college shape, this, that, and the other. You can still play him in 4 games against the Wagners and the UABs of the world, but you let those guys sit. Now you could potentially move DJ Scaife down inside where he's better, put him at guard. Maybe Devon Donaldson's back healthy. If not, you've got Ja'Kai Clark. Corey Gaynor's sitting there at center, and he played pretty well a year ago. And John Campbell, if you believe everything that you had, for the 4 spring practices, looks like he's finally taken it serious. And maybe that guy's your right tackle. Suddenly your O-line doesn't suck the way that it did a year ago just by adding 1 grad transfer.
Yeah. And to piggyback on your point, the fact that we're going to be able to slide Scaife inside, that actually means that our interior line is actually really good for the starting lineup. I mean, Gaynor is solid, Scaife and Clark, and then Donaldson, we went from having a bad line to at least our interior is pretty rock solid going into next season, at least for the starters.
It should be. And, Donaldson's the big wild card. We don't know. I mean, they haven't said 2 words about his knee. We have no earthly idea. Was it minor enough to where he'll be ready for fall camp? Was it major enough where maybe he has to sit out a year and take a red shirt? Does he take it serious enough to lose weight? Because I think if Devon Donaldson could get in the 330 range instead of playing at 350 or 360 or 380, however big he had ended up getting.
Yeah, he's
Devon Donaldson, we saw him as a true freshman. He was an all-conference type player. All of a sudden, the last 2 years, he can't move his feet. So I like that idea. Clark, again, if Donaldson's healthy, Clark can sit back and learn his natural position of center, and maybe you allow him to take a red shirt. And guys, I always think about building on the offensive line. Unless you're getting the elite of the elite, and I'm talking like Alex Leatherwood a couple of years ago, or some of the players that, that Georgia or Alabama have plugged in as 5-star elite offensive linemen. You get a 4-star, those kids need to come into school and typically take a year to get their body right. And Miami hasn't had that ability or enough depth on the roster to do so. Yeah. Hopefully now, with Jarrid Williams taking 1 spot and being able to move some other pieces around, you may end up having that happen.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a really good point. That red shirt is so crucial, and I think it really hurt Zion Nelson last year. Obviously, he improved throughout the season, but I mean, you just look at what he had to do in order to get ready to be that starting left tackle. I mean, he had to put on like 60 pounds, and when you throw out, I say this all the time, when you throw out an 18-year-old week one against a defensive line like the Gators had, his confidence just is going to go down. And so a lot of people are expecting Jalen Rivers or Isaiah Walker to maybe play this year, but kind of like what you said, like if we're blowing out Wagner or UAB, put them in there. But other than that, like, let's develop these players like we should. Like, we don't need to rush into it as when they're true freshmen.
Yeah. It's the best thing that could ever happen to the program is getting back to, kids shouldn't be starting really until they're sophomores or redshirt sophomores. Again, if you get the elite of the elite, Chantrell Henderson years ago was the best offensive lineman we had the day he walked on campus. Okay, he starts at offensive line. Eric Flowers, was the best offensive lineman we had. He walks in and starts. Big Vaughn, Navon was actually the best O-lineman we had as a freshman, or pretty damn close to it, and he was able to start. But those guys should be few and far between. We basically took, Zion Nelson to me is this year's Chris Washington. Chris Washington probably shouldn't play at Miami till he's a redshirt junior at best. He's a kid that's going to take a couple of years of work, a couple of years of technique, strength, conditioning, everything else. And I think you just nailed it when you said 18, the difference of being 18 and potentially going against a senior who's 22. Think about where, all of us collectively, where our bodies were at 18 as opposed to where we were as 22. Those 4 years in college where you're eating a little bit better, you're in the gym, and, I wasn't on a Division I scholarship by any means, but I gained muscle. I gained some strength. I gained, appetite and everything else, stuff that I didn't have in high school. The O-line, it's different. You can throw a freshman wide receiver out there that runs a 4.3. You run a 4.3 at 18, you can run a 4.3 at 22 and still go make catches. You're a 300-pounder going against other grown-ass men who are 300 pounds and have had 4 years of nutrition and can get after it. It's the same thing on the D-line. That's where Miami has failed so badly. And it really goes back to think about, was it Brandon Washington leaving a year early and some of the other guys that have left, and you go, why aren't you still in this program? Venzel Boulware leaving to do what? Stay one more year and play college football. I just don't get it.
No, and I couldn't agree with you more. And so the next thing we want to talk about is the wide receiver room, and I know you're working on a piece for State of the U right now. I know that for this piece you've probably studied a little bit about the Canes receivers. A lot of people are kind of skeptical about this room. I used to be really nervous about this wide receiver room, especially, we lost Jeff Thomas, we lost KJ Osborne. We have a lot of potential there right now, but not a lot of production. How do you feel about the Hurricanes wide receivers going into 2020?
Not to give away everything, I'm actually going to post the article today. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I got it done while I'm waiting for a high school graduation to get over. I said, let me get this out here tonight and then do the tight ends before I leave to go to Florida for the weekend. So what do I think of them? Potential's there. The actual production is not there. And when I went back and started dissecting stats and gameplay, D. Wiggins is arguably our number one receiver, right? I think we could all agree that he's the number one coming into 2020. He had 20 catches, or I think he had 20 catches a year ago, and 13 of them, or somewhere along those lines. I'm sorry, he had 20 catches a year ago. 7 of them were against Florida State and Louisville. Over half of his yards were against Florida State and Louisville. I can't have a receiver that for 10 games gives me 13 catches. I can't have a receiver in 10 games give me 130 yards. And I get it, he wasn't the number one a year ago. It was obviously Thomas and Osborne, as you just mentioned. But even as the number 3, Thomas was non-existent last year. There's no reason Wiggins couldn't have had bigger games. Then you go down. Mike Harley has lived up to kind of what he was. He was one of the last recruits to get in. He wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest. I think his ceiling could be what Braxton Berrios did in 2017, especially in this offense. Mark Pope's been a disappointment, whether it's been Mark Richt, whether it's been Dan Enos, or the rumors, and I use very loosely the rumors that Mark Pope couldn't learn the playbook, whatever it is. This is the most decorated wide receiver we have on the roster, and he's done nothing at Miami. Then you throw in Jeremiah Payton, and those are the only 4 guys that are coming back to school that have played college football. Payton had 1 catch a year ago, and one of the big mysteries to me last year is How do you have a guy with the physical tools of Jeremiah Payton not getting any